let's talk about Worldwide Developer Conference. So unfortunately, you and I were in the thick of the 6.5 Summit when this was going on. So I had to watch back and sort of consume this in bits. But of course, my social feeds were lit up with WWDC content. Let's just quickly touch on what happened, right? So what did happen and then maybe what didn't happen. What did happen was, as everyone expected, we got a new operating system. We got the new M2 chip. What some people I think expected that did happen too is the MacBook Air got updated. There were some pretty cool features. There was a new watch OS. I'm not a watch wearer, Pat, so I'll let you talk about if that matters. There were some cool features. I really thought the text stuff was cool about being able to unsend messages. That way if you're super hot and heated, you can, Pat sends me a message, Dan, you were completely wrong, you idiot. And then 5 minutes later, he'd be like, oh, he hasn't read that yet. I'm going to unsend that before he sees that. I thought that was clever more because all that stuff's going to be tracked and logged because that's internal. So it's not a discovery or legal thing. I think some people are trying to make that into, you will be able to get that data back in discovery, I'm pretty sure. The reason that's important is how many times have you sent the message to the wrong person? You're like, oh, crap.
The problem is you can only delete it or edit it for 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, that's a good start because a lot of the time you send it and immediately you're like, oh, I didn't mean to send it to that person. You know what I mean? Right away. But yeah, you're right. It's not perfect, but it's better. It's kind of like the edit button on Twitter. It'd be good if we could edit for 5 minutes, even if you wouldn't be able to permanently edit because I constantly tag things and misspell things. And I'm like, crap, got to delete it, do it again. Anyways, this is about Apple, not about Twitter. Those are the things that sort of caught my attention. Pat, the one thing that didn't happen, though, again, was there was some thought that the augmented reality next wave was coming at this developer conference. And yet again, nothing. There is nothing happening there. Apple is, the metaverse is, it's weird because this is something you would have absolutely expected Apple to be on top of. And for the longest time, I remember the Scobalizer putting out tweets about the clear iPhone that was going to be futuristic and you were going to be minting NFTs that were going to be popping out of the sky off of your new iPhone. And we're literally 5 generations. And I think this is a Tim Cook symptom. Tim Cook he's an implementer. He is a profit extractor. He is going to suck every dollar out of every resale. He's going to be as iterative as possible from generation to generation. And he's going to, especially when it comes to the iPhones and the advancement in that particular category. I'll give him one prop though, Pat, and this goes back to the ARM conversation, not server and data center, which we were talking more about on that last segment. But that M2 chip, what I'm reading and what I'm looking at it looks compelling. You and I were both very skeptical during M1. We were overtly critical. And by the way, early M1 stunk. It was terrible.
It was incompatible.
It was incompatible with most of the things that people use, and that's a problem. We're now at a year and a half. I'm trying to think about the exact date since that debut of the M1. And it looks like what's coming down the line here with the M2 is compelling, Pat. And I don't know if you've looked at it. I don't know if you've read about it, but I am,
might have a slightly different viewpoint on it.
I was going to say, they're figuring it out. You've got high resolution, you got an 8-core CPU, a 10-core GPU, 2 terabytes of SSD, you got up to 24 gigabytes of memory, you got high color, 1080p cameras, you've got 8K video playback on these things, and it's $1,200. Now, if you're trying to buy a cheap PC for the household, $300 or $400 off of a pile at Walmart, that's not going to be your thing. But if you're looking for a pretty high quality $1,200 PC, that's great. And the last thing I'm going to leave on this is there's more indication here about the ecosystem becoming connected. iPad, iPhone, Mac, on the ARM instruction set, we're going to get to a point where your mobile device and your PC, your mobile device and your Mac are going to become increasingly compatible in terms of the experience, the ability to simulate the apps from device to device and create more continuity. I think that's going to be a very strong and sticky thing for Apple. And of course, they love sticky because they are the most anti-competitive company I've ever seen in my life.
There we go. I think that's a great place to end. So I'm gonna rattle off my thoughts real quick. So a lot of the changes inside of iOS basically remind me of Android, right? I use both phones. I use a mini for iMessage with my family, and then I use this S22 Ultra from Samsung to do my real work and my real play. And essentially, they lifted a lot of the personalization things from Android. But hey, if you're an iPhone user, I think you're going to enjoy them. Company took a different stab at the smart home, which Apple has been a categoric failure in this market with their stuff. They added Matter support, which I think is good. They didn't add. Gosh, when's the last time you've seen a smart home device? Completely missed the wave of smart speakers out there. CarPlay is going full dash. You probably saw the mock-ups. By the way, didn't cite a single car maker at all.
So nobody's going to use it, huh?
Well, I thought about, hey, is this just timing because it's WWDC? But when does Apple come out with something brand new like this without having partners, right? So, it's funny. There's been a lot of people who have wondered, hey, what's Apple's end game on this? Is it a smart car, or is it a smart dashboard that they can license out for the experience? I think they're hedging their bets. I think they're still working on a full smart car here, but in the end, they want Apple to be the experience for the self-driving car, because that environment's going to be our future living room, our future office, and in some way, shape, or form, our future bedroom. On Watch, the big thing for me was the medication app. Right, it tracks what you take. You can scan your meds in. Gives you drug-to-drug negative interactions, what you shouldn't be taking with alcohol. By the way, this stuff scares the crap out of me for a potential breach, and not because necessarily. I think of even my situation where I'm taking all of these drugs. No, I'm just kidding.
Just a few.
Sorry.
And they're mostly legal.
No, but it seems pretty I don't know, pretty ridiculous to me, but we'll see. They have a secure platform, but is it secure enough of somebody who is motivated? Let's talk M2, Daniel. Gosh, 25% bigger, and they said it gives 18% performance improvement on multi-core. So first of all, I'll take that as no single core improvement. So IPC stayed the same. Well, what the heck did they do to this thing? Because they added a bunch of stuff. They added up to 24 gigs of memory. It's an 8-core, 4-4. So no single core improvement. And that means no improvement in performance on things that are single core. And most things are single core. And Daniel, does it pass your smell test that 25% bigger, 25% more transistors and 18% higher performance? That sounds like a step back to me. And then when I compare it to what happened before, 50% improvement, 60% improvement. So I don't know. I'm disappointed. My guess is that this was initially targeted at TSMC's fake 3-nanometer process, or N3, and N3 just didn't make it. So they had to backport to a second generation fake 5-nanometer part. New MacBook Air, they fixed a lot of the things they broke prior. They added MagSafe in, 25% brighter, 1080p camera, fanless, fast charge, nothing that is over and above any of the Windows premium devices from Dell, HP, or Lenovo or Surface. New MacBook Pro added M2, but who cares about M2? I mean, M2 versus M1 is an absolute yawner, in my opinion. That's it. That's WWDC for me.
So we're at odds a little bit on that one. I'm a power user of the premium devices, but I do use an M1. I do find it to be a pretty good experience. I do think it provides, again, I like the universal opportunity to create seamless experiences from mobile to desktop. That is something the Windows ecosystem needs to improve.
Oh yeah, man, I wish I had that.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel that Apple's going towards. Having said that, you're absolutely right on some of the specs. Good call outs. And like I said, this show is always better when we're not 100% in agreement on every single topic.